Imagine being told by the person you love most that you're worthless, only for them to walk away right when your life is about to change forever. That was me. My husband cheated on me, called me financially useless, and filed for divorce, without knowing I had just sold my startup for over $800,000. What happened next? Let's just say karma hit him harder than I ever could. If you've ever dreamed of serving poetic justice to someone who betrayed you, hit that like button, subscribe, and stick around, because this revenge story will have you grinning all the way through. When I first married Daniel, I thought I had found my forever. He was charming, confident, and he made me believe I was lucky just to be in his presence. What I didn't see back then was the arrogance, the superiority complex, and the cruel little digs he would drop whenever he felt insecure. I was building a small startup at the time, a tech idea that I poured my entire heart into. Long nights, no weekends, constant stress. And instead of supporting me, Daniel would roll his eyes and say things like, "You're wasting your time. You'll never make money from this." Every time he said it, I felt a knife twist a little deeper. But I kept going, because deep down, I knew I was building something worth fighting for. Things between us started to shift when I noticed he was becoming distant. Longer hours at work, constantly glued to his phone, always too tired when I wanted to talk. My gut told me something was wrong. And it was right. One night, I saw the messages. Dozens of them. Flirty texts with someone named Camera. My heart sank when I realized who it was, my own secretary. A woman I had trusted, trained, and even considered a friend. When I confronted him, he didn't even flinch. He looked me dead in the eye and said, "You're not enough. You've never been enough. And financially, you're useless. Camera understands me better than you ever could." That was the moment my world shattered. Years of marriage, countless sacrifices, all dismissed in one brutal sentence. But here's the twist. What Daniel didn't know was that 2 weeks earlier, my startup had been acquired. After years of grinding, I had finally cashed out, for $800,000. But I didn't tell him. Something inside me told me to stay quiet, to let him show me exactly who he really was. And he did. He filed for divorce within the month, parading Camera around like some prize he had earned. My friends urged me to tell him about the money, to use it against him in court. But I didn't. I had a better plan. See, Daniel had always treated me like I was beneath him. So what better revenge than letting him believe he had won, only for reality to slap him across the face when he realized the truth too late. The divorce went quickly, and he left with nothing but his pride and his new secretary turned wife. I signed the papers quietly, hiding the biggest victory of my life. On the day it was finalized, he smirked at me and said, "Good luck finding someone else to take care of you." I remember biting back a smile. He had no idea I didn't need anyone to take care of me ever again. Months passed. I traveled. I upgraded my lifestyle. I invested smartly. But I stayed low-key on social media, because I wanted Daniel to live in his delusion a little longer. Then, about a year later, karma struck. Camera left him. Apparently, she wasn't too happy when she realized Daniel wasn't the wealthy provider she thought he was. She left him for a wealthier man, taking half of what little he had. Suddenly, the man who once called me useless was broke, bitter, and alone. And that's when he reached out. Out of the blue, I got a message. "Hey, I've been thinking about you. Maybe we could talk. I miss what we had." I laughed so hard I nearly cried. The audacity. He thought he could just waltz back into my life after everything he did. I decided to give him the closure he so desperately needed. We met at a cafe. He looked older, worn out, like life had chewed him up and spat him out. I, on the other hand, walked in confident, glowing, and unapologetically successful. When he asked what I'd been up to, I calmly told him about the startup sale. About the travels. About the investments. The look on his face was priceless. His jaw literally dropped. He stammered, "Wait, you had all that money. And you didn't say anything." I leaned in, smiled, and said, "Why would I? You made it very clear I was useless." He sat there in silence, his pride crumbling in real time. For me, it wasn't about flaunting the money. It was about watching the realization wash over him, that he had thrown away the best thing in his life for nothing. That was my revenge. Not screaming, not fighting, just living better, happier, and wealthier without him. And letting him choke on the regret of his own choices. That moment in the cafe. It was everything. Watching him squirm, watching his arrogance collapse, watching him finally realize that the useless woman he threw away had built a life 10 times better than he ever could, that was justice. Pure, satisfying, karmic justice. Sometimes the best revenge isn't loud or dramatic. It's quiet. It's patience. It's letting karma do the heavy lifting while you rise above and build something incredible for yourself. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever witnessed? Don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this, because trust me, the best karma stories are the ones that hit when you least expect it.